Feels good. It's been a little bit back in the question chair, if you will, with head coach Will McCoy of the Greenwood Gators Boys Basketball team. Coach, I know it definitely been a frustrating stretch for you guys.
Yes.
I know it was frustrating in the last couple of days. I know that especially against Davis County, which is obviously you already know they're a solid team and one of the best teams in the third region. Just what was frustrating about that game, man?
Man, we just really have been struggling all around as a group, and it starts with me. I've got to do a better job of getting our guys more prepared and ready to play. We've came out to multiple sluggish starts outside of the Barron game. Our last 6-7 games, we came out flat, and I feel like we're practicing hard. I feel like our shoot-arounds are efficient. We can't quite figure out what it is other than we're just trying to shift our mentality. And for the first time all season, even the Central game where they were special, the way they played against us over here Friday. Tuesday night, I felt like we kind of gave up a little bit, and that bothered me a lot. And I told them I can't allow that to happen, and they can't do that. They're so much better than that. So as a group, we're trying to learn from that. We're trying to regroup and move forward and make sure that that's something that we don't allow to happen again.
I know, obviously, it was rough, but one guy that wasn't rough in that performance was Landon Metter.
Yeah.
And 15 points led the way. I didn't think that there'd be a day I'd say Landon Metter was the leading scorer on the team for you guys. But I know you've talked to him in the past about how he's just been so efficient. What was it about that game that just, even though he's the quiet guy around here, definitely made a lot of noise on Tuesday?
That's it. He was efficient. He was 5 for 6 from 2, 2 for 2 from 3. And man, the guy he did it on, the Watkins kid at Davies he's an animal. He's 6'8". He's the biggest, thickest kid we've seen all year. Jumps out of the gym. He's got multiple Division I offers, and Landon did a really good job. He ripped by him a few times on the perimeter. He made his open threes. Got a couple putbacks. He did it in a variety of ways, and so he was really good. He was a spark for us. And the score, man, I know it was bad. It was an awful ending. We cut it back to 11 with Landon getting going, and then they went on another big run, and that's when we kind of felt like we folded in the towel a little too early for my liking. So again, they are a great team. It was a tough place to play, but we feel like since then, the last 48 hours, that we're a new team again, and I'm really proud of our guys. They've not came in pouting and sulked up. I mean, they have came in the very next day, chins up, eye contact. They're ready. They're ready to change this. They're ready to fix this, and we have time. We have time, and time's dwindling. I've made them aware of that. It's not like we got half the season left. We're all well aware that this is a really big one tomorrow for both teams. But I think we're back on track. We just got to go out there and prove it.
Coach Will McCoy of the Greenwood Gators Boys Basketball team and head coach joining us on our pregame show interview. Coach, like you mentioned, it's the final district game of the regular season portion. Obviously, we have the district tournament. That's for later. But taking on South Warren, who proved to be a tough test for you guys at South. Obviously, South's a hard place to play. But what happened there last time that coming into the practice you guys had today, what you want to do against South Warren to make sure whatever happened was in the past?
Well, we have to guard the basketball and the driving lanes better to start off. They drove it whenever and wherever they wanted to, and we respectfully so, they shoot the three so well as a program. That's a focus, and I don't know if maybe I put too much emphasis on the three ball for our guys, so where they were so focused, we were too hugged up, or if South was just tougher with the basketball. But we have to guard the ball, on the ball better. Individually, we've got to be in the lanes more on help. We've got to be more physical. And I think we will. We played a great first quarter over there, played a decent second quarter. The game got away from us in the third, and so I hope we guard the 3-point line as well as we did. I think we held them to 3 or 4. And on top of that, if you're able to guard them out there like that, and also take away some of those easy drives we gave them, I think we have a much better shot at it.
Situation obviously coming into this game Friday is that if y'all win, and seeds 3 and 4 are going to be decided by a coin flip. I know it's obviously something you don't want to hear with the coin flip scenario, but I think in this case, it's scenario for you and the team as of right now at this point, it's probably going to have to be this is going to have to be the best shot if we're able to steal the game against South.
Well, of course, what we've told our kids is the seeding in terms of who we match up against is out of our hands. I mean, that's going to come down to the other game across town and who wins that one. And it's actually RPI, not coin flip. That's a change. That's not your fault. That's new. Gotcha. They're ahead of us in RPI by 0.02. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of RPI in basketball. Foundation Christian Academy is ranked 5th in RPI in the 4th region. So I think that alone shows it's a broken measurement system. But what we know is for momentum and for confidence sake and to try to get things turned back around, the magnitude of tomorrow is huge. And we haven't made it a win or the season's over type game because it's not. We could lose that one tomorrow and still get hot and finish 19-11 rolling into the district tournament. So we've tried to do a really good job of making sure our kids are aware how much we need it, but not making it something where they feel like they got to live or die by it. So, hey man, it's a big rival game. We haven't beat them in a couple years. We're on a skid. Everybody in there, if you're a competitor, and I think we have a lot of them, they're going to be ready tomorrow. I'm not saying that's a guaranteed win at all, because South will be too. They're playing great basketball, but it's going to be a game. I know across town's the game everybody's going to be wanting to watch, but I think our game's going to be a pretty good marquee matchup as well. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, Coach Q, aka Coach Carlos Quarles, has definitely been a coach that's definitely, I would say the thorn in your side right now. But kind of going into part of that keys to the game, what's going to take to beat his squad and try to get your first district win for the first time in nearly 3 years? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, we've already talked about it. We have to guard the basketball and on the drive better. We've got to get our bodies in front of them and be more able to trust the help behind us by pressuring the right guys at the right times. We've got to make sure we don't let them go bananas from the 3-point line as well. So that's a hard task. That's why they're such a good team, is they're not one-dimensional. So it starts there. We got to continue to win the rebound war. When you're struggling offensively, you got to guard and you got to rebound. That's what you've got to fall back on. And that's what I thought we were so good at through the first 14 games or so. And that's what bothers me the most that we've gotten away from. People are talking about our offense not looking the same. I believe that's because those other two categories, that wins and loses basketball games, is kind of fizzled out on us. So we got to get back to there. And then, man, I really think it's going to be a whole lot to do with who kind of settles in first. I really do. There's a lot of emotion going to be out there tomorrow. The school record I saw a couple days ago was 17-17 with Greenwood and South Lawrence. I mean, it's a 500 series. Up until the last 2.5 years, since I was here, we were 8-1, and I think it's 8-8 or 8-9. So I mean, they've had our number, and that's not something that we've hidden from or that I'm shy about. That we've got to flip it back around, and tomorrow is hopefully where we can start with that.
Last question for head coach Will McCoy, the Greenwood Gators boys basketball team. Got to deal with the shooters. Of course, you've already mentioned it. I don't think you mentioned a couple, but you got to mention Thad Hall and Griffin Raritan, who has been. Both of those guys have been exceptional, and of course, you got the freshman Brandon Perkins.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're gonna have to probably cover the whole team because they got a couple of bigs in there too.
They do.
Jackson Decker and Clay Willis.
Yep.
How important is it going to be covering those guys?
Well, those other guys really hurt. Thad had a great game. He's been very consistent for them all year. I think he had 16 against us. Decker had 14. Button had 14. Rardon had 11. Willis had 8. I mean, Perkins had 8. They had a beautiful spread, and that's goes back to what I said earlier. They're not one dimensional, so you have to guard all of them. There's not really a weakness that you can say you can just sag off this guy and hang out in the lane, or you can double off this guy. You've got to guard your man, and if they do get by us, we've got to help scramble, recover. But definitely going to be focused on Rardon. Again, I think we had a great game plan over there. I think guarding the 3 ball and focusing in on making his life tough is what works. We just kind of lost track of the other stuff, and if we can stick with that, and also sprinkle in just being better on those other guys, finding our offense earlier than we have the last 5 or 6 ball games, and I'm hoping we can get back to who we were early in the season.
Coach Will McCoy, head coach of the Greenwood Gators Boys Basketball team, here with us. Coach, appreciate you taking the time.
Man. Yeah.
Big one against Southmore, and going to be an important one.
Yes, sir.
The dub, man.
That's right. Thank you.
Appreciate you stopping by. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more on the Sporting Types Broadcast Network.